Welcome to the Rumbizai Show. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. And if you're on Facebook, please share this video, please like our page. And let us know where you're watching from, please, and drop a comment in our comment section. Today we have Alice Coles again. We spoke to her before around race and marriage. And today we're talking about some research that she's doing at the University of Reading. The research towards her PhD, it's on identity and transnational activities for young Zimbabweans in the UK. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Thank you so much, Alice, for being on again and talking about something different. Thank you. We have so much to learn from you. And so it's great, the conversations that we've been having around young people, and we met when you were doing some of your research. Could you tell our viewers a little bit background into the research and then perhaps some of the findings that you've made? I'll leave you much to talk because I know there's a lot that we need to come out, but I might just interrupt for clarity or anything else. But yeah, just a background into the research and some of the key themes that you found in the Zimbabwean community among our young people.
Okay, thank you for inviting me to talk about that. It's quite important that we need to be talking about it and have actual conversations. My research is actually on identity and transnational activities for young Zimbabweans who came in the UK. What in human geography they call the 1.5 generation. They were born in Zimbabwe, but they came here as young people and teenagers at that age to join their parents or came with their parents. So the three cohorts that I was researching on are the ones that came with their parents on working visas, and then the ones that came as refugees with their parents, and the international students, so that to compare how they find things in the UK when they are here. And actually the international students who have even stayed here and never went back home.
Can I just ask something about you said the 1.5 generation?
Yes.
So those ones are the ones who were left behind and then came on to join their parents when they were teenagers.
Their parents, the teenagers or young before they started secondary school or when they were starting primary at a certain age. But they were actually born in Zimbabwe, not the ones that were born here. So who have a legal glimpse of Zimbabwe a little bit, and who came in here. So the things that I was looking for is about their identity, their transnational identities, how they fit into the cosmos of the UK, and then looking at themes like the culture, how the culture of Zimbabwean culture with their parents or relatives or family, how they live in that space also, and also looking at things, transnational activities, meaning what do they do? So it was about hanging out with the young people. And I did hang out with young people.
So you must have had some fun.
I had a lot of fun. I'm still in touch with so many of these young people, but I did have fun with young people. My research was mainly about also participatory observation. So if there's an event for young people, I'll just go there and see and observe. But I'll also validate myself that I'm there because I'm researching. And also spend time with them and hear what they were saying. So the most important thing was bringing their voices, not my narration of how I see things, but their voices.
Their voices.
This stems from spending more time with my kids, my two daughters who are now grown up, Tadi and Michelle.
How old are your children now?
My eldest daughter is 28 and my youngest daughter is 23. So they also are the generation that I'm researching.
The 1.5?
Yeah, the 1.5, 18 to 30. Those are the years I'm doing. So I used to listen when they have the other young people in the house. They're talking about things, and you would hear, and they will also ask me. Their friends were sitting, having their conversations about things they are struggling with. Their friends who are boys and girls together having conversations like that. I also have spent a lot of time. I'm a trustee of refugee organizations.
Okay.
And I've spent a lot of time with refugee communities, especially Zimbabwean communities. And I've had stories after stories, some of them very traumatic, also, especially parents talking about their trauma of not having papers and the struggles that they are facing.
Bringing their children.
Yeah, a lot of that. And I think we also have been involved together with the Zimbabwe Diaspora Focus Group.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very, it was so emotional for me to listen now that I've finished the research and play back those stories from young people. I gave them the leeway to talk in confidentiality. And one of the things that I want to particularly zoom on is I'm not there to ostracize parenting.
Yes.
Because I'm a parent also. I've made mistakes. I still make mistakes. It's not about picking up on parents, how they are doing bad. It's about letting the children talk about things that they have affected them and how we could do better as parents.
And I just want to stop you there because I think that is fundamental and very key for parents who may be listening to know that how the children feel is neither wrong nor right. They feel that way. And it's not that we're pointing fingers like what you've said, but it's the voice of the children, of what they experienced and how they saw things. And maybe for us as parents to listen in order to understand what they've gone through, rather than to listen to be defensive or to listen to respond.
Yes.
So
exactly.
any parents who are listening, I think that's important for you to understand what you've said, that we are parents and we've messed up as well. All of us have, but we need to hear the voices of the young people.
Yeah. So I spent most of the time like going to Zimfest, doing other things, hanging out with young people, even sometimes young people who have committed suicide in the UK. And some of them are people that I've known directly, going to funerals and hearing how distressing for young people it is, stemming from there. I've spent time with the LGBT community of Zimbabwean young people here. Something Zimbabweans don't want to talk about. They don't want to know that there is an LGBT community of Zimbabweans here. And it is true, they are there and they exist. And they live a thriving life.
Wow.
But some of them live a life behind the black curtains, because when they get home, they're totally different people.
Wow.
When they're out there, they are themselves. And they have to switch every time. And this has been one of their distressing times of trying to switch. As you know, our constitution in Zimbabwe doesn't allow allow any LGBT. It's against the law. And as much they talk about it in such a derogative way,
they do
that it doesn't. So many young people came here, nobody educated them about being gay. They actually born like that. I've got a son, my brother's son, who grew up in Zimbabwe with a stable family, and the mom and dad, and many people, the stereotype, kind of boarding school is not. He was gay in Zimbabwe. He had to leave Zimbabwe and go to South Africa, and he was born like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the kind of things that identity was very much crucial, and because what they feel is that when they start saying that they are gay, they're then taken kumapostori to wash the sin away or pray it out and try and make it different. And they go along and do that just to please their parents because they don't want to offend them. Or some of them have totally no relationship
with their parents.
Yes, they're estranged with their parents because of that. And you listen to those stories and those emotions you feel. They cried, the young people that I hanged out with. They miss their parents, they love their parents, but they can't change. They've been fighting to change their identity. And it's very sad.
Wow.
Very, very, very sad.
So they are, when you spoke to those young people, would you say that they feel, so do they feel trapped then in their body, because you say they're born like that? So for them it's something that cannot change then.
They cannot change that. They cannot. It's something that they cannot change. They might get married, probably, just like we've seen many people getting married and later on they come out and say, you know what, I'm gay.
I'm gay.
Yeah, they are who they are. Even if they are going through a journey, let them experience what they are going through, and then to themselves embrace them and love them as they are. So those are the things that I found that they were struggling with quite a lot, and most of them tend to ending up in drugs because of that, to numb that pain that they are going through, or trying to say, actually, maybe I'm not gay, and then it continues like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So also in my research, I also interviewed people who work with young people, Zimbabweans, and also people who organize events about how do they see when they are in this festival or parties or whatever, board parties, how are things happening there, and say when they come here, most of Zimbabweans, which we're talking about race before, they're not accepted. They code switch all the time when they're outside, either their accent or certain things they try to fit in. But when they come to these events, they are who they are. They listen to Zimbabwean music. They dance the way they want to. They try to talk their language, which they miss very much. And sometimes at home, some parents now talk to their children in English and they don't learn Shona on Ndebele. So they need to be learning it, and they spend time with their friends and they become who they are, because nobody's judging them. They might have the difference of fights, but nobody's judging them.
Yeah.
Whereas out there, with the race issue becomes, why are you speaking like this? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you behaving like that?
Yeah.
And then at home again, they go in, why are you behaving like this? Why are you speaking like this? Why are you doing that? So their identity is like in limbo. Sometimes they are lost in who are we? Many of them are asking, who are we? When they go to Zimbabwe, they go with their family or their own. They're then again having identities.
They're not accepted.
Masalala, given names, Madiaspora, and all that. They are seen not to fit because they now have a little bit of an accent, an English accent. And here again, they have an African accent. So who else can they fit in except at home? That's the only place, their sanctuary, that they feel like. So the other stories about university again, some of them
careers,
yeah. They end up doing careers that they never want to do because they are forced by the parents. Yikho kuzuzakala umsebenzi, hambe sebenzi ube ngunesi, hamba ube ngu-carer, and onosenza uyithe carer or nurse or whatever. And some of these young people actually want to study music. And that's what they want to study, or they want to study to be a cameraman or things different that are there. But because of generational things, also I go back to colonialization, because these are the normal careers that we're seeing. And it's not to blame family mothers, but this is the normal career. That's what we learned.
And I think as well, for parents, speaking as a parent, it's also sometimes it's security.
Yes.
Because of race and the challenges that young people face even in getting a job, I think we tend to steer children and try and get them into professions that we know that they'll be able to financially look at, which we feel they'll be able to financially look after them. So it's a way of perhaps trying to protect them. So a lot of parents do that. But I know you've said when you spoke to the young people, they expressed a lot about that.
Well, they expressed a lot about that they end up saying that, at some university where I spent time with young people, they said, we have got friends here who are actually not attending uni. They are no longer registered. They came the first year. They did what they were supposed to do from parents, but they hang around here in this town. And they work either at a McDonald's or Tesco because they didn't want to do the same career. And during summer holidays, they always tell their parents, I can't go, I'm not coming, mom or dad, because I'm still, I've got a job, part-time job.
Wow.
So the parents don't know this is happening because the kids are scared to be honest with their parents.
Wow.
That I can't be doing this. I didn't feel it was right for me. I don't want to be. And also there's also institutionalized discrimination at university, which they've perpetually experienced, some of them, and at work, where some of them drop because the lecturers, we need to be talking about this, the lecturers who are white don't understand the things that they are doing, so they don't get enough support, and this stresses other young people, and they end up dropping out of university. Some of them suffering from mental health. It was, in a way, very traumatic for me, even if I've got a background in social work. But it would bring tears. It will. Young people who didn't have papers to live in this country. The story of somebody jumping barriers in London. The system is of immigration in this country has let down a lot of young immigrants because the parents were refugees. They don't have papers. So this young person over 18 can't go to university because they still don't have papers. For almost 15 years they are here, jumping barriers, ending up doing crime because survival. The parents get only very little money from the government. So if you look at it, the parents also have got two homes. The children understand that our parents have got two homes. They've got to work for Zimbabwe. They've got to work for here. And they spend more time doing
at work.
So like young people saying, since I came in this country, I used to see other children being picked up from school. From my primary school to the time I went to university, I never was picked by my parents or attend my open day or any sports day because they're working.
They're working. And would the young people say, I mean, as you spoke to them, it's heartbreaking to hear and to know that you're talking to 18 to 30-year-olds. Is there anything, I mean, just from talking to them, are there any things that you picked up that they would like? What would help them in that situation? Because I can imagine a parent listening who says, okay, I never picked up my child and I forced them to do nursing, but now what can I do? How can I make this right? What can parents do?
I think it's the young people say that the life we can't bring, that's why it's called transnational activities. We can't bring Zimbabwe here. Zimbabwe is a nice country on its own. It's got good cultures, which we can also take the good bits of it and use it. The young people are saying. But we cannot have the nostalgia that the parents have about Zimbabwe to continue perpetually happening in us. If you go to Zimbabwe, I actually did scoping in Zimbabwe before I came to see young people in Zimbabwe. They speak English. Most of them, and the parents speak to them in English because they want them to excel in certain ways. So we are losing that. We still hold on to culture, but which culture they are asking because they don't understand. Parents don't talk to them about sex. And in this, it is very important. It's not learning through Google. They need to know about those things. They need to know exactly from parents about drugs. They need to know about mental health. They know the body image. Some young people have learned about body image from Google. And yet they were, during school time, some were big.
They were bullied.
They were bullied all the time. They were sexualized about their body and they never told the parents. So they're now 18. They are dealing with those traumas that they don't have to tell. They didn't tell anybody. So they just need to have conversations. What I really think was important was that there's nothing wrong with our culture. There's nothing wrong about Christianity. It's the religion that they were complaining about. Religion, which is really stemming too much into the sense that children are always, the Bible is used against them in so many ways. And yet they say, yes, we do love the Bible. We love being Christians. But if religion is being used as a domineering factor, and at the same time, you're again telling us about culture, which ones are
Which ones? So we're interchanging. And I think one of the things as well for parents, speaking as a parent who is also a Christian parent, we do choose when we want to use what supports what we're saying. So when we are talking about, we don't do that in our culture. And my son said to me, what culture? You've never actually taught me. You're now telling me about this culture because you don't want me to do a certain thing. But you've never taken time to teach me what is our culture. And I remember him saying to me, is our culture eating sadza? Because that's the only thing of our culture is our food that I can definitely identify that this is our culture. But you haven't taught us. And when we reflected, we had this conversation in 3 generations with my mother-in-law and us. And we said, but our parents never taught us, really. So we don't even know our own culture, really. But there's certain aspects of it that we will choose when the time is right to implement, or when it's lobola, we say you have to do it because it's our culture. But all along we haven't been teaching them. So
yeah.
And when you speak about body image, about sex, about all these things, I think it's also a case of maybe us as parents, we haven't had those conversations with our parents. So this generation of parents has to also be equipped and to learn in order to be able to give to the next generation.
Yeah, it is. Most of it is more or less. I grew up in Bulawayo where umntwana ngowethu sonke, meaning
Yes.
mwana ndowethu these. I speak both Ndebele and Shona. Mwana ndowethu these as a society. But at the end of the day, yes, mwana ndowethu these, but how are we bringing that narrative in the UK kuti mwana ndowethu these? In that sense, because we need to be listening to each other, but most of all center our children. I can't ostracize my mom for what she did because she didn't know any better. She was doing the best that she can within what level of knowledge that she had. And the thing of it goes on, but this is a generation, what they call the millennials. They're totally different from how we were, and they're owning a lot of other things in our lives, and so we need to sort of bring them together and listen. How do you know that your child is being sexually abused when you've never talked about sex to them? It's actual, because we don't have an atete kunoko or auntie, so we need to be having those conversations with our children here. As much as it is embarrassing for moms or dads, we need young people, girls saying they don't want to get married or have relationships with Zimbabwe men because they're abusive. What does that mean? This is the theme that came out. I interviewed almost about 53 young people, male and female. But young girls all in spaces where I was. It was in a focus group of 12 young girls in a university. None of them said they want to get married to Zimbabweans, but they've got fathers who are here. So I wanted to find out why, and all those reasons, the abuse that they were talking about, the respect, the culture that they think, the guys think this is our culture, but at the end it's more suppressing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be feminist, but they just want to be feeling that they can have a voice. So they're refusing all those things. In churches where they go, one example is somebody going to a church. They were poor, they were refugees, they arrived here, they didn't have anything. The church is the one that ostracized them. There are so many transnational churches from Zimbabwe that are here. And so in that space, young people growing up and seeing how their mom and dad and themselves are laughed at by church members. When they are 18 and above, how do they feel?
How do they feel?
Those are things that have gone through. And actually, mental health is real for young people. And if there's anything else I can advise, I'm not saying parents are bad. I'm a parent. I've done a lot of things that are not good with my children too. I'm here, I can honor up. But I'm saying that mental health is real.
Did you find that a lot of the young people you interviewed had experienced mental health problems?
Yes. They are on tablets, some of them. Yeah, they are on tablets. And shamefully enough, I would sit and somebody would say, these are the tablets and I've got an appointment. And my parents don't know about this. There's a lot of mental health problems, because also outside, as you know, we are, as parents, we're working, but outside they're not fitting all that much. They're not fitting at home. They're not fitting in Zimbabwe. And how do we embrace all these 3 identities that they are forming within this? And when they try and complain, they're told, yes. So, and then they say, but we are here for now, let's deal. They also complain that their parents actually spend more money in Zimbabwe with relatives in Zimbabwe than with them. So those kind of things that they're looking. And Xbox, there's a piece that I wrote about, I was looked after by Sisive Basane Xbox.
Wow.
And these themes are out of all the young people that I talked about, most of them.
Wow.
Xbox, Sisive Basa in Zimbabwe, Kuno Xbox. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just trying to make sure that we form a relationship with our children.
Yeah.
We form a relationship with our children. And actually, when it comes to Christianity, they still will find themselves wherever. We guide them, but they will still find that Christianity that they really, really need. But we guide them. Also the systems in the country. When it comes to migration, it hasn't really done very much about young people that are coming as immigrants. So it's quite important that all these things about migration, the policies that are made, reflect those dynamics that are happening.
Yeah.
So that young people, why are they ending up in drugs? Why are they doing the knife crime? But the roots of the problem are not looked into.
Yes, definitely. And the roots are in policy, they're in... Even like the 1.5 generation, the impact of I see from our work in dealing with family reunions, the policies were creating a hostile environment in the UK, which in turn then had a ripple effect to the children who are trying to join their parents. So there is so much to look to, and I want to believe that when your research is out, it will be published for other people as well to read, and that you'll be able to talk more about this, because I believe the voices of the young people are imperative. We need to listen to them. We need to hear, and then we need to take these over, not just to the parents, but also to policymakers.
Yes.
So that they're aware of the impact of migration policy and so many other policies which have affected even education and student finance and so many things which have affected young migrants. It's been so great chatting to you about this. Our time is coming up, and we've only covered the tip of the iceberg.
It is, indeed,
but it's food for thought. And I would love to just signpost people to your blog so they can read about some of the stories and hear some of the voices, as you've said you've blogged on some of them.
Yes.
So that would be really good for people to turn to those and to read, and watch out for I see books coming, other things as well for people, resources for people to be able to tap into. We are quite a
big community. There's almost the estimate 4 million people left the country.
Yes.
So we need to be doing something, because it can be generational.
It is.
It can be within us and within also the countries where we are. In the UK, we are here. We are probably the young people are going to be here for generations to come.
They will be.
So those are the things that are quite important to listen.
It's intergenerational trauma, really. So we need to have more of these conversations. We need to actively do, even in our organizations that we're part of. It's looking at projects that we can do which can then impact the young people. Which are transformational, because that's what they need. So that's great. So thank you so much.
Thank
you for coming all the way from Reading.
Thank you.
Thank you to Wayne, who's supporting you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching. And I believe that we need to have more conversations about this. We'll have some follow-on live conversations where you can share your experiences, either as parents or even as young people, where you can tell us your stories, and we can continue talking about these issues, because it is important. Thank you for watching. Please share this video. Even in the comments, drop any comments sharing your experiences. And let's get the conversations going. Let's listen to our children and hear them, what they're saying, and try and help them. Thank you so much, and be blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.